Coming to you from the Lydia Media Studios in the heart of Lewiston, Auburn, it's Lydia's Lunch Bunch, LA's afternoon morning show with Mark, Sarah, and Pam. We're covering news and events in the greater LA area and talking to the people making a difference in our community. Give us a listen at lydiamediallc.com or wherever you get your podcasts. And feel free to share your comments, questions, or suggestions via email at podcast@lydiamediallc.com.
Today's show is brought to you by UPI Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, serving residential and commercial customers with new installations and repairs. Call today and schedule your oil and gas boiler cleanings at 754-4556. UPI, the best plumbers around. And by Ruper's Beverage and Redemption. When it comes to beer, wine, and spirits, don't botch it.
Squatch it!
At 6 locations in Lewiston, Auburn, and Oxford. Learn more at rupersbeverage.com. And remember, the party starts at Ruper's.
We are joined in studio today by the president and CEO of the Lewiston, Auburn Metropolitan Chamber of Commerce, Shanna Cox. Welcome back.
Morning, afternoon.
Yeah, morning, afternoon.
Yeah.
It works.
Yeah.
It works.
Coffee is acceptable no matter what time of day, so I'm feeling good about it.
Very true.
Absolutely.
It's always a pleasure to be back.
And on Thursdays, you never know what our beverage
there was a
choice is gonna
scheduling
be.
snafu because my day is Tuesday and Spirit's day is Thursday, and I'd like to connect with Ruper's, is all I'm saying. Feel free to bring me back. I would serve for them. I would clean up after. If I could be useful in that segment, you just let me know.
I think we can work it out.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm available.
Yeah. We're going to talk to Shanna all about chamber events and happenings coming up in just a bit. But right now, let's take a look at some headlines for Tuesday, November 12th.
Ahold Delhaize, the parent company of Hannaford Supermarkets, detected a cybersecurity issue within its U.S. network. Hannaford announced that its website, pharmacies, and some stores were experiencing a network issue. As of this morning, the website was still offline. For updates, check the Hannaford Facebook page.
Maine Public reports that nonprofit Preble Street said ending homelessness for veterans in Maine can be achieved by next June. Caseworkers have found housing for 277 homeless vets within the last year. The work is made possible through a federal grant that funds housing liaisons and incentives for landlords to participate.
Auburn Police Chief Jason Moen was installed as the 2025 president of the Maine Chiefs of Police Association. The MCOPA banquet was held last week at the Hilton Garden Inn Riverwatch. Moen has been a police officer for the city of Auburn for 29 years and has served as chief since 2018.
Burnt Ends Barbecue hosted the Lewiston Fire Department Annual Awards Banquet. 17 firefighters who responded to the October 25th tragedy were honored and presented with Valor Awards for their bravery and dedicated efforts.
The Bates Mill Atrium at 35 Canal Street in Lewiston will host Maine artist Robert Shetterly's collection of portraits, Americans Who Tell the Truth. The display includes over 270 Americans from the past and present who have spoken truth to power in different daring ways. Shetterly's work will be on display from November 15th through December 15th.
And here is the most trusted name in meteorology in the Twin Cities. Alex stepping in to do the weather.
Partly sunny today with a high of 48 and a low of 31. Sunday tomorrow and Thursday with the high temps in the mid-40s and a chance of meatballs on Friday.
Oh, meatballs? I thought it said rain.
Rain, meatballs, you know.
In sports, the Celtics host the Atlanta Hawks tonight at 7.
The Bruins.
What about those Bruins, Sarah?
The Bruins will visit the St. Louis Blues tonight at 8. I got my hug. Did you see? It wasn't like the hug, but like
the
beginning of the game, Allmark and Sweden gave each other
I thought you made it sound like you were on the ice.
That's what I was thinking. I'm
I was like,
what?
what's a little hug look like?
We had a bet at my house for the mortgage payment that they wouldn't hug.
Ooh,
Guess who
that's a
won?
good bet.
Wow. The Maine Nordiques visit the Danbury Hat Tricks tomorrow at 4 p.m. Little midweek hockey for the Nords.
That's fun. Maine basketball phenom Cooper Flagg faces his first real test tonight as number 6 Duke will host number 19 Kentucky at 9 p.m.
Bates College Field Hockey will host Stevens Institute of Technology in round 1 of the NCAA Division III National Tournament tomorrow at 4.
The Maine Gladiators won the 16U Tier 2 state championship over the weekend in Augusta. The team is led by Maine Nordique's assistance coach, Caleb Labrie.
All right.
All right.
And we can't leave our sports segment without announcing that Lydia is now a perfect 1-0 in picking football games.
Yeah, she
Nice work, Lydia.
She picked the Pats over the weekend?
She picked the Patriots.
Yes, and I was like, oh boy.
So is she a Pats fan or is she good at this?
We're going to find out this week.
I can't wait.
She likes snacks.
She's like, wait, what are you
What's
talking
not to
about?
love, though, really?
So later this week, check out the Uncle Andy's Digest Facebook page, and you will see who Lydia takes between the Pats and the LA Rams.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm going to follow.
It's worth noting that Vinny did pick the Chicago Bears, so Lydia's
Vinny.
got bragging rights all week long.
Did Vinny pick?
Lydia's twice as tall as Vinny. She's got bragging rights all the time.
Yeah, but Vinny would take her down.
Yeah.
She'd be like,
Did Vinny pick the Bears or did he get what was left over?
No, he picked
he
up. Oh, we
did?
made it fair.
Okay,
of course.
good. My Vinny.
And right now it's time for the podcast segment that is Sweeping the Twin Cities. It's time for famous people birthdays.
They're famous. It's their birthdays. It's famous people birthdays. It's famous people birthdays.
Let's take a look at FPBs for November the 12th, shall we?
Okay, it's a long list, huh?
It's only a few. There's a handful. Anne Hathaway
Oh, yes.
is 42 today. Anne Hathaway has won an Academy Award. She's won a British Academy Film Award, a Golden Globe, a Primetime Emmy. She's done it all.
The Devil Wears Prada is one of my favorite movies.
I could watch that movie over and over for sure. Yes.
That and The Princess Diaries. And Ella Enchanted, when she sings the Queen song, Somebody to Love. I'm just like, oh,
Actor Ryan Gosling is 44 years old today.
also love.
Yes.
He was in, what was he in? He was in
The
Driver.
Notebook?
Oh, The Notebook. That's
That
right.
was the big
big one.
classic. That was like, and I think it kind of,
Nice.
I mean, I don't know it was his first, but kind of jump-started his career.
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was Ken in the Barbie movie.
Oh, right. Also that.
So good. I loved him.
Have you seen Crazy Stupid Love?
I haven't.
Oh, that's a good
that
one.
good?
Megan Mullally is 66 years old today. She's best known, I think, from Will and Grace.
It was Karen.
And she's married to Ron Swanson.
Yes.
I don't know.
I'm sure that's how the nuptials went down. Do you, Ron Swanson?
I guess.
Do you mean Nick Offerman?
I kind of do. Neil Young, legend, 79 years old today.
I wonder if he's
Keep on
still-
rocking in the free world,
Still
baby.
rocking though.
He
There's
is.
something about his lifestyle choices that maybe we should look at.
Maybe.
Maybe.
He's older and active, huh?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Neil has done it all. He's
Neil
been
Young
in,
is not so young anymore.
No. And rounding out FPBs for November the 12th is sportscasting legend Al Michaels. 80 years old today. Shanna's like, I have no idea who he is.
Sorry.
Miracle on Ice in 1980.
Yes.
That was him. Al Michaels was also a play-by-play sportscaster for Thursday Night Football, and he also did Monday Night Football and Sunday Night Football, and was broadcasting the World Series in 1989 when an earthquake interrupted the game. It was Game 3 back in the day.
You
There
could
you
probably
go.
watch that on YouTube, huh?
Yeah.
I'd be curious to see.
ESPN made a documentary about it.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, it's
I'd be
pretty cool.
curious to see what that was
The
like.
earthquake or the
actually.
game?
Both.
Both. Yeah. Can we give an honorable mention to Wallace Shawn?
We can.
Okay.
Go right ahead.
I'm dying to know who Wallace
I've already
is.
closed it out.
I'm dying to know who Wallace is.
done,
So
Are you done? But are you done? I don't want to.
cannot leave me hanging. Wallace. What about Wallace?
Wallace Shawn. He was the Sicilian in The Princess Bride.
Oh,
Never go up against a Sicilian.
that gets an honorable mention for sure.
Only
He was
because of the Princess
Vicini.
Bride.
He was Vicini, where he's like they do the Battle of the Wits and he's laughing. He's like, ha, 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 and then he dies. Wallace Shawn.
Those are your FPBs for November the 12th. Locally owned and locally focused, Lydia Media celebrates the heart of the greater Lewiston, Auburn area through 2 magazines, Uncle Andy's Digest and LA Metro Magazine, and the new Lydia's Lunch Bunch podcast. Each production shines a positive light on local businesses, nonprofits, events, and individuals making a difference in our community. Keep your advertising dollars local and position your business in front of your target audience with Lydia Media. Learn more at lydiamediallc.com. Now we shift focus to our esteemed guest in studio.
Esteemed.
I said it.
You're sweet.
I said it.
That's sweet.
Shanna Cox, President and CEO of the LA Metro Chamber.
I live for these days. I drove the right way today. It was great. Pulled in before 7. I'm feeling really good about this day.
Are you
Excellent.
saying you drove the right way? Because usually you get in your car and you're on autopilot.
Yes.
Yeah, I've done that.
Yeah.
Went to the station.
I did that once. I'm good about not going straight to work, but yeah, I definitely took the other bridge and came all the way down last time. I was like, here we are.
This works too.
I remember back at IGY, I'd get texts from Shanna. Might be a few minutes late. I'm going the wrong way on the bridge.
I'm coming in hot. I definitely sent that text more than coming in hot. If I'm on time, I'm late. So I like to communicate that my expectation is to be here before you begin. And if I'm not meeting that, then I feel bad and I like you to know. I don't know if that's the right way to go about it or not.
Thoughtful.
We appreciate that.
Yeah.
It shows
Thank you.
that you respect our time.
I think it's important. Yes.
You were part of a very powerful event last month, the October 25th Commemoration Event.
Yeah.
Can you recap that for us?
Yeah, and I'm going to do it in true Shanna fashion, which is with raw honesty. So, because I've had a lot of opportunity to reflect since the commemoration event. The reality is my team and I had an outsized role in helping organize the event. So we worked with a steering committee, we worked with the Maine Deaf Association, we worked with the Maine Resiliency Center and survivor support groups for first responders, survivors, victims, families of victims. And so there was a lot that went into planning the event. There was a lot of thoughtfulness about the program, about the speakers, about the physical environment, about what memories would bring into the space. We worked with Maine Mill to curate some of the collection and have photos. There was, it's been years, but I got married a million years ago, and it felt like it had that same level of personal touch for every, how will you be welcomed? What will you find in your seat? What will your experience be throughout the program? How will you feel when you left? That kind of care and thought. And we do a lot of events. And it's not that we don't put a lot of thought into all of our events, but the intimacy and importance of this event was just first and foremost for all of us. And so the truth is, I went into October 25th having done a lot of activity in the weeks leading up to it. And so there was some part of me, I think, that looked at October 25th as an important, first and foremost through the lens of work, right? So this is an important day. We need to get this right. We need to make sure all the elements fall into place, that we've done all of the parts. It was hard not to be in work mode. And for so many others, because our goal was for it to not be something they had to think about, not be something that was hard. And I think we achieved that. But it meant that that's where mine and many on my team's mind kind of first and foremost was. As the day itself unfolded, so we had 75 volunteers at the Colisée by 9 a.m., right? So there was 1,000 chairs to put out on the floor, 900 hand-cut blue hearts to put on the back of each chair. Wow. Floral, a couple truckloads of floral, as well as the AV, and a lot of attention to accessibility and the way we were using picture-in-picture and closed captioning and the live stream that would go out to everybody. And so there was just kind of the elements of the day of checking each thing off and making sure each piece was cared for. And by the time we started, 6:15, I sat back in my chair and realized that even though I was speaking at the event and had to stay present for that to some extent, that we had created an event that I think was really aimed at healing. And I started to feel that almost immediately. And I'm a little bit type A. Y'all might know that. I had not planned to feel emotional. I had not given myself permission or space to connect with the event as a participant, as an attendee, and just kind of was Saturday's my day of making sense of everything. And I'll just kind of put all my feelings in a box. And I'll open that box on Saturday and I'll do my job and show up today. And I know that there were so many others who had that same level of responsibility and commitment to the event. It was beautiful and it was healing. I felt a sense of that as we closed the event and as we cleaned up that night. And I woke Saturday feeling renewed in a way that I hadn't expected. And I we had, just in terms of actually recapping the event, which I think was your original question, we had a beautiful honor guard with firefighters and police officers from Lewiston and Auburn who helped post the colors at the beginning. We had a pipe and drum band from the Maine State Police start with Amazing Grace with the bagpipes. And for each of these, we had asked how first responders would want to be reflected in the event. And they were very clear that these kind of ceremonial elements were the best fit for them, but that they did not want the focus to be on them. They didn't want any recognition of what they had done that day and in the days that followed that really felt misplaced for them. And so, of course, we honored that. But so a very powerful, very, very ceremonial start. And we made some real choices in the program that I wondered how they would play out. There was no one that introduced. We had very intentionally an interpreter on the stage and just like basic announcements that I was doing through the sound system, but not on stage, so that the first moment of people being on stage was the reading of the names. And right before that, we had the Lewiston High School Choir sing the national anthem, which was really powerful, and they did an incredible job. Yeah. Our first real speaker after we did the reading of the names and got it kicked off, we introduced Tom Caron, who's like the sports broadcaster name I know, and a really lovely man. He was very quick to say yes, that he would come back and MC this event when he had done the vigil for us as well. And so, we had a number of interpreters on the stage. Our first speaker, Liz Seal, is deaf. She lost her husband that day. She was present. She has children, and she gave such powerful opening remarks. And through the course of the event, we had a number of different speakers speaking from the first experience who were there or who were connected to kind of the recovery efforts and are connected to those who were directly impacted. That carried on throughout the event, and we really aimed for the program and the speakers and the order that we put them in to move us from very solemn remembrance to resilience and whatever version of hope you can have on a day like that for an event like that, but really kind of ending with, we're going to work together towards a permanent memorial. We're going to move through our grief and not past our grief, among very many other things that were just perfect. The event went really, really well. And I think, by what I heard afterwards, that sense of relief and acknowledgement and feeling seen was pretty universal by folks who attended and folks who didn't attend, which we wanted to make a lot of space for folks to be able to watch this live streamed in their comfort of the living room with no one else around, if that's kind of where they were at. We had almost 2,000 viewers doing that.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep, just through the Sun Journal site. So, and there was many other ways that people could watch. And so, yeah, at the end, we had the only speaker that we had who was not local and directly connected was Lauren Ridloff. And she's a actress. She's an advocate. She's deaf and part of the deaf community. And she herself experienced gun violence in Italy, within the last year. And her remarks were really, really powerful as well. And she was moved by the event. She kind of gave some indication of that while she was on stage, saying, this is harder than I thought it would be. It's more emotional than I thought it would be. And afterwards, I had a number of people come up. And as we planned it, we've been working so closely, not just with members of the deaf community and the Maine Deaf Association, but with people who were there who are also deaf. And we just planned this event to speak to the different experiences. And about half of our speakers were from the deaf community. And afterwards, a number of our peers came up afterwards and said, I don't know if you know what we did here tonight, but we had a fully integrated, fully accessible event. And that doesn't happen in other places. And I know from some of my family up north who live streamed, they were like, it took us a minute to understand. And then really it was just so powerful. And so I think by all accounts, it went really well. And I say all this knowing that part of my experience over the last couple of weeks since that was the 25th. On the 27th, I was in Vermont. And then on the 29th, I was in Virginia. And I did a lot of travel directly after. And from some folks I heard, it's been a year. Can we be done talking about it? Right? And I think it's a day that marks one of our hardest days in Maine history. And I think it marks a sense of loss of our sense of security and things that we could trust and have faith in before. And so there's a piece that almost feels like betrayal around it. And I think some folks are ready to be not talking about it anymore. And I think with a lot of the folks that that we talk to, they wake up every day with an empty chair at the table or a therapy appointment to deal with what they saw or their physical recovery. And so I can understand the desire to not feel forgotten, and I can understand the desire to want to forget. And I think that's the nut we as a community have to crack together. I think that's part of what the permanent memorial and planning a permanent memorial is about for us, is creating a space where folks can go and remember, go and feel seen, and that other folks can drive past that if they want to and not have to engage with it until they're ready.
Do we have an idea of what the permanent memorial is going to look like?
No.
Okay.
No, it's such a, I love that question because it gives me an opportunity to say, no, in the work that we've done in looking at our peer communities, creating a permanent memorial should be and serves the community as well as the victims and survivors best when the planning of the memorial is looked at as part of the healing process and not just the establishment. So, like, could we put up a stone monument or dig out a small pond and put some benches around it, put some names, and it all be done in a year? Probably. That hasn't been very effective in most of the places. So for us, it's about planning an engagement process with those who are impacted, not just directly impacted, not just locally, but across the state and in so many other ways, to see what elements of a permanent memorial feel most important to them and what that might look like. And so for us, the planning part is part of the healing journey, and the establishment of the permanent memorial, I think, really sets that kind of piece into completion. And so that's the way in which we're looking at it, which is, and so I laugh, no, we don't know, because I wouldn't have done my work and we wouldn't have done our work if I did know. If I could tell you what it looked like, then that's ignoring really important perspectives that we haven't heard from yet. And I think another piece of it is that the healing journey is long for some folks. And even just planning the commemoration event, the way a brain that has had trauma experiences things, it takes a while to process it. And then you come back to it and you think differently about it. And that means that elements of the event were changing right up until the 2 weeks beforehand. And so there has to be a bit of an iterative process where people hear it, they think about it for the first time, they make sense of it, then they come back and say, I thought about this more and I actually think this is more important, or I'd like to see this, or that thing I said I don't actually want at all. And if you don't make space for that, then you're not acknowledging what trauma healing looks like. Right. That's the challenge ahead, and a worthy one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Thanks to you and your staff for all of the great work you did in organizing that event.
And the Maine Resiliency Center.
Yes.
And the Maine Deficit. We couldn't have done that alone. It was so big. But thank you. Yeah. My team says thank you, I'm sure.
FEZtival of Trees.
Every year we partner with the Chorus Shriners to support the FEZtival of the Trees. And so, we're currently putting our tree together, and we are a tree sponsor, but we also partner with them for an exclusive preview. And so this is one of my few pitches of if you're not a chamber member, this is one of those moments that it's super awesome to be one. Our members and tree sponsors get an invitation to join the preview night the night before. And so we actually do a business after hours. We get to see all the trees. It's a pretty controlled environment, so it's not super busy. It's a really fantastic night, and it kicks off our Stuff the Bus. And so we encourage our members to bring gifts or household items. And so for us, it's kind of the start of the holiday season. And I'm pretty sure why Katie, our director of events, works with the chamber at all.
She loves it.
She likes other parts, but
that's her favorite.
if the FEZtival and Stuff the Bus was no longer part of our, I'd get a 2-hour notice from her. She'd be like, I'm out.
I'm going to work for the Cora.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah,
End up buying a bus.
Yeah,
and a bus.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is one of our favorite events of the year. It's and I mean, I say event, it's like a campaign. So, from November 17th ish until December 10th, we're putting out the marketing. We're working with businesses, and what a lot of folks don't know is when you see the Stuff the Bus promotions and it tells you these are the places that you can drop off, that's about a quarter of the businesses we're working with. Not everybody wants to be a public bus stop, so a lot of folks will kind of organize their team around the wish list, and so we don't promote them until after as thank you, so that they don't have people randomly showing up as a public drop-off spot. But for most of the promotional period, you wouldn't know how many people, and some of their stories are just every year what they pull out when we pull up with the bus. We're just like, you did scooters. We love you. You know, like, yeah. Bikes are obviously a big ticket item, but so we support 19 organizations with Stuff the Bus, and they each give us a list of wish list items, and we support organizations that serve seniors, pets. We've got 2 organizations that manage pet pantries. Yep. So if you're like, well, I've kind of lost faith in humans, but I'd donate some dog food, like we will take it and we will pay that forward. But we also support families, but we support homeless youth. And one of the most powerful statements that we had in one of our radiothons once was, bikes are really nice for kids, but for young adults, it's transportation to school, it's transportation to work, it's transportation to doctor's appointments. Like, it's a functional piece of their life. And so every time I see a bike or a scooter now, I think of it that way. And so, yeah, Elmet Technologies on Outer Lisbon Street, they're just, those guys know how to shop a Christmas list. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
And every time we pull up, they're like, we're going to get the things people don't get that are fun. And they mean it. And it's always a really great time. And so, yeah, it's weeks of elfing around Androscoggin County. Yeah, we love it. We do. We love it. We love it. It's a good time.
That's awesome.
I forwarded your email to my boss and was like, we should do
Thank you. Do. I mean, and it doesn't matter what size. We had a business once, just everybody said, take the socks off the list. We're going to do a sock drive for all of the seniors, the youth, the children. And so we just picked up like 2 huge garbage bags of brand new socks, ranging from like 2T to 13 men's wool winter socks and everything in between. Yeah.
Nice. We get lots of socks from our vendors
Yeah.
and our giveaways. I bet we could fill a bus full of socks.
There's a huge need for it.
I bet.
There's a huge need for it. And it's one of the like less sexy items, right?
Right.
So
Sure.
if you're shopping, if you adopt a family, you'll like go get the laundry soap and the wipes, but then you spend like 20 minutes in the kids aisle pushing all the buttons and
That's
shaking all the
fun.
And
Yeah.
so we get a lot of those things, which are really fantastic and definitely on the list.
But if people don't have to buy laundry soap or
Right.
wipes or what,
Then
those
they know
spend
their kid, yeah.
they can spend their
Yeah.
money where they know their child will be.
Last year, so we have wish list sponsors. If anyone wants to do that, it's when you say, here, this is how much money we can give you, and you can do the shopping, and dollar for dollar. If you do a wish list sponsorship, it doesn't go to marketing, it doesn't go to anything else. It dollar for dollar goes to the list. And so after we unload the bus right across the street here at the Hilton, we kind of take over for 3 days. We do a quick inventory of what's missing, because the next day we have a slew of volunteers who reorganize everything and shop all the lists. But we take an inventory of what's missing, and then a team of us elves go shopping that night with wish list money to like gap fill.
So
and
fun.
we found a purple stuffed hamster, which was a very specific request.
Wow.
Last year, we're like shopping at 9:30 at night after a full day of busing, and we found the purple hamster in a little cage.
Oh my!
So cute.
Obviously a stuffed one, but
Wow.
yes, yeah, and that's where Katie shines.
I
That's,
bet.
that's the moment she lives for, is
Yeah,
the
I bet.
making all the dreams come true. So we love it. We love it.
That's
we love
awesome.
that season.
Yeah.
Brewing Connections coming up on Thursday.
Yeah, so we bring in members to tell us in 5 slides and 5 minutes, and we bring in 4 members to tell us about them, a new business, a new product, a new location, a new teammate, a new service, and then we have structured networking. This Brewing Connections coming up this week, we have a guest you might be familiar with.
Who's that?
Who's Lunch Bunch is in the house. Yeah, I'm super excited. Mark's coming in and doing a member moment for all things Lydia Media. You're
Yes.
going to touch on
Covering everything.
in 5 slides. You're not
5
covering
slides.
everything.
He's the marketing man.
Yeah, those are going to be the most crowded slides ever.
You should see the typeface.
4-point font.
People are going to have to
Tiny.
come up to the screen to read it.
800 thumbnails on each slide.
I love it. Or you could just have a QR code where you have like a 30-slide presentation that you talk
good
through.
idea.
Don't cheat. Don't cheat. Don't let me give you ideas. Yeah,
Yeah, we're excited.
We're really excited. I hope that you have a blast. It's a new event this year, Brewing Connections. We were trying to respond to the recognition that not everybody is a breakfast hour person. So 6:45 is really early for some folks. Trying to make sure people still got back to their desk by 9 o'clock, which feels important. But there was also a desire for more structured networking. And at breakfast, we highlight new members and tell people about them and their business and their services. And we just have incredible members and have for 140 plus years. And we really wanted to be able to highlight existing members as well. And so for a pilot event that we were testing out in 2024, I think it's going really well.
Yeah.
People like it. And
It's been a full year, right?
Yeah. Almost.
I'm a little nervous about Thursday because I just found out Pam's going to be there.
Your boss.
I think you should sweat it. I think you should be very concerned. Maybe if you wear a blindfold while you speak.
All right. Nobody
Right?
told me about this.
I'll be back there grading.
Yeah. She's like,
She's taking notes. Like, all right.
That was
this
wrong.
Is a coaching form.
that was wrong.
I would have designed slide 4 differently.
That's right.
It's almost like you lay out magazines for a living.
Weird, right?
That's the deal. We'll wrap it up with the December marketplace.
So excited
Yeah.
about
that
that.
takes place
That's
at
my
the
favorite.
December breakfast, right?
Yeah. So that's the tail end of our very busy holiday week. So we do Stuff the Bus, where we actually go around and pick up all the things on that Tuesday. Wednesday is the day at the Hilton where everything is organized, and there's a business after hours, which you should come to. Anybody listening should come to. It's open to the public. Not only do you get to see the hall from Stuff the Bus, and our volunteers always arrange it so beautifully. Like you'd think that they all own their little shop fronts, and it's like perfectly merchandised. But you get to meet representatives from the nonprofits and talk to them. And so it's just like a really fun, warm-hearted time. And then Thursday morning, we convert the space all over again, and we'll have 30 plus vendors of our members selling their items, selling gift cards, selling gift baskets. And so, we still will introduce a few new members at breakfast. We'll thank some of our partners, as we always do. And then it's shopping time, and thousands of dollars of commerce happens at this breakfast. It's a really
so fun.
And it's a ton of fun. And one of the things that I love is it's one of the opportunities where people who see each other at breakfast month after month are like, oh, that's what you make, or that's what you sell. And like there's just this really lovely recognition of seeing each other in their work, which we bring into one space. Yeah, it's a really great event. And so join us. Come
I'll
to
be there.
LAMetroChamber.com. You can get it's a reduced cost breakfast ticket, and you get a light breakfast. There's some pastries and coffee, and you get to support local in the most wonderful way.
I love that. It's my favorite chamber breakfast.
It's so
of the year.
great, isn't it?
I love that one. And then I think there's one in June you do that I love too, where you give out your scholarships.
Yeah.
I like that one a lot.
Thanks. Thanks. Me too.
Two my two favorites.
I do all my Christmas shopping. At
Yeah.
this- at the-
I did
I get a fair bit done at
Yeah.
Winter is on the way, and if you're looking to get your vehicle, home, or health ready for all that Mother Nature has to offer, look no further than Uncle Andy's Digest. You'll find plenty of local businesses that take pride in providing great service at affordable prices. Holiday gift ideas? Yep, we have that too. It's all in the November issue of Uncle Andy's Digest, along with jokes, funny stories, shout-outs, an events calendar, and a whole lot more. Uncle Andy's Digest, your guide to, well, just about anything. Visit UncleAndys.com. Do you have time for a quick 3 random questions?
I do.
Excellent.
Super random.
Are you going to sing this time?
Probably not.
I don't know.
Should have learned my lesson last time.
Pretty popular.
Sometimes it just comes from within, Mark.
Shanna, who was your favorite teacher and why?
Mrs. Babs was maybe my favorite teacher, and Mr. Regala. But both of them were pretty impactful in 6th grade year. I don't know what to make of that. But Mr. Regala taught us chess and how to thoughtfully question authority, even himself, which I thought was a pretty big move and always stuck with me. And then Mrs. Babs was our art teacher, and she created a space. So now I do watercolor, and I don't think I would have been courageous enough to try any type of art if it hadn't been for her, because it's not my natural tendency. And so both of them just created spaces, allowed me to be seen as a very awkward 12-year-old girl. And both of them inform my life to this day.
You're up, Sarah.
I got a question. All right. If you suspected that someone that you were interacting with was a robot, how would you prove that they were or were not?
I'd ask them to give me a therapeutic hug and see if they understood what that meant.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I might be a robot.
I love hug tests. I think I'm happy to do it. A good hug with therapeutic qualities comes after the 22nd second.
Yep.
And so A, most regular humans don't know that, and I suspect a robot would. And B, I suspect a robot would have a hard time understanding what to do in those 22 plus seconds. Because there's got to be like a progression of squeezing in a
It's-
good therapeutic hug. You can't just come in hard and hold that for 25 seconds and vice grip somebody.
Especially
It's not
nowadays.
cool. Can't do it.
It's
This
so
is now
funny.
awkward and not therapeutic at all.
Yeah. Sometimes I will mid-hug say to somebody, no. 22 seconds
Yeah,
makes this
yeah.
really happen. Just trust me. And I just keep hugging. I'm a fan of consent, so don't get me wrong. But I try to work it in and get consent around second 10. And
Yeah.
I count in my head.
Yeah.
I'm a
It's-
believer in therapeutic hugging.
It's funny that you mention it because I was literally thinking of it this morning. Like
Yeah.
I was hugging Nick in the kitchen and I was like, it's not long enough. Yet.
No. Yeah,
Like,
and
we're not at 20 seconds
20
yet.
seconds is a long time.
It is.
It is a long time, and there's most natural people. If you get in the habit of counting your hugs by seconds, and I do, around 5 or 6 is like I did the thing. Like I've showed you my affection, and now I'm going to release. And if you can get someone to make it past the 10-second mark, they melt.
Mm-hmm.
There's this literal, they're like, oh, I didn't realize I needed that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Tension's gone.
and I live for that moment.
I love that too.
It's awesome.
Yep.
Hugs are good.
Good test.
Actually, my
Yeah.
senior year in high school, me and a friend, this was our thing. We'd be like, hugs make you live longer, and then we'd hug each other.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cute.
I have 44. I still believe that, and I get more hugs than ever because I need the help. Let's just start adding those minutes back in. Yeah.
I feel like also if they weren't a robot, that would just be therapy for them.
Right.
Yeah. Like so you're helping while you're
I mean, it's
testing.
not like I'm going to rip your skin off and, I was wrong, right? Like, I feel like this is the healthiest way to answer your question.
It's a good one.
Well, this took a turn.
I mean,
Very gruesome. all
I've
of a
seen the
sudden.
robot movies taking over the world, and usually it's some bit of metal that's exposed. And I'm all set. That's not the test.
Terminator style.
That's not the test I'm going to do. Hugs. Hugs for the win.
Oops, I was wrong.
Good.
This is my point.
You're bleeding. What happened?
No. See? A good solid hug. I stand by my answer.
Good answer.
All right. Pam, you're up.
Which celebrity would you choose for your best friend?
Oh,
Wanda Sykes.
she's pretty cool.
Yeah, she's really great. She's really great. I need humor in a friendship. I need lack of judgment in a friendship. I need the ability to call at weird times with weird things, and there be no question about why I'm calling or what the weird thing is, just addressing the thing. I feel like she'd pull through for that.
Shannon, it's always a pleasure.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for stopping by.
It's a pleasure myself.
And we look forward to seeing you on Thursday.
Oh yeah, I look forward to seeing you on Thursday.
No, I look forward to seeing you on
You're saying that to Mark, right? Because we're just audience members for Mark's show on Thursday. I can't wait.
Ooh, this is going to be a nightmare.
It's going to be fantastic.
Thanks to our sponsors, Ruper's Beverage and Redemption and UPI Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. And if you'd like to be part of the Lydia's Lunch Bunch advertising family, reach out to Pam. She's right there. Via email at pam@lydiamediallc.com.
.com.